Hi, I would like to discuss about my favorite film, which is Rambo Last Blood 2019. It was starring by Sylvester Stallone, one of my favorite actors. And I would like to discuss deeper about this movie using some concepts that I learned from my class. Let's jump into the first concept. It is film form and structure. The first one we got exposition here. The film opens with Rambo living quiet life on his ranch, showing him at a peace, far from the violence. This peaceful start established his desire for a normal life and introduced his relationship with his niece Gabrielle, which set up the emotional stakes. Now we jump to the conflict. The conflict begins when the Gabrielle is kidnapped by a Mexican cartel. This shatters Rambo's words as he tries to rescue her, but when she is murdered, the tension escalates. In the resignation, Rambo's grief drives him to prepare for revenge. The film slowly builds tension during this time, showing Rambo setting up traps in his underground tunnels, quietly preparing for the final confrontation. In the climax occurs when the cartel invades Rambo's ranch. The violent, bloody battle takes place in the tunnels, where Rambo uses his traps to systematically take down the enemies. This moment feels intense because the film has built up to this point, slowly heightening the impact of the violence. Afterwards, in the filing action, after the brutal confrontation, Rambo hunts down the cartel leader in a final act of vengeance, completing his mission by taking out his heart from his body. Finally, when it's come to the resolution, Rambo is left alone riding off into the distance, the quiet at the end mirroring the beginning, but now there is a sense of emptiness after all the violence, closing the film on a sober note. Furthermore, the second concept is narrative form. As we know, the narrative of this movie is all about revenge. And the narrative, we got two main topics, which is story versus plot. And the story itself is focuses mostly on Rambo's life in the past as war veteran with trauma. But the plot focuses only just one event, which is Gabriella's death and his need for revenge. This makes the movie looks very personal. We also see cause and effect. Gabriella's death drives everything Rambo does. Every trap he sets in the final act is connected to his past experience as a soldier. The film uses restricted narration, meaning we only see what Rambo sees. We don't know his full plan until the cartel walks into his trap, which keeps us on edge, just like the enemies. The next concept is mise-en-scène. The director used setting, costume, and lighting to make the movie look appear. The setting on Rambo Ranch show his isolation and desire for peace, like living in normal life. But when he goes to Mexico, the setting becomes dark and dangerous, symbolizing the chaos he's about to enter. And his costume and his scars tell us about his tough past. His scars are visual reminders of violence he survived. And finally, the lightning in the final act, especially in the tunnels, is dark and shadowy, creating tension. It makes the cartel members feel trapped, just like we do watching it. Finally, last concept, which is cinematography. In cinematography really brings out Rambo's emotion. The close-up shot of his face, especially when he's grieving Gabriella's death, show us his pain without needing words. The colors also tell a story. Mute grays and browns throughout most of the film reflect its dark mood, while flashbacks with Gabriella are warmer, showing the happiness he's lost. During the action scenes, the camera moves fast, following Rambo throughout his tunnel as he set off traps. The quick cuts and fast movement make the violence feel chaotic and intense, pulling us into the action.